Now, this could easily be the best news of all time when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, and exactly what Disney's master plan is currently to really turn things around for the franchise and for the Star Wars community to really ensure that Star Wars is going to thrive and survive, both in the streaming realm and as well as in theaters. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that Kathleen Kennedy is the disaster artist, as I like to call her, based on the popular film that was a critique or a retelling of the worst movie ever made. Let's just call Kathleen Kennedy that, because she is exactly just that. She destroys every single franchise that she touches, unfortunately, but it almost came across as a blessing in disguise because it really brought us down to a point where we needed people like John and Dave to bring things up and to really kind of just turn Star Wars around for the better. Now, look, at the same exact time, I just wish things turned out differently where Star Wars was, picked up right where it left off with Revenge of the Sith, where it was at least, acceptable. And a lot of people loved George Lucas's outlook. They should have just respected George right from the get-go. And it's very sad that it brought us to where we are today. However, what's really exciting has a lot to do with what Disney is forming right now to turn Star Wars around for the best way possible to convince the fans that great things are indeed on the horizon. Now, with John and Dave working on multiple Star Wars shows and movies, a recent development is set to completely turn Star Wars around for the better. Now, it's noted that Disney is planning to form a dream team to steer Star Wars in the right path that will be working on a series of films and upcoming Star Wars TV shows as well. Now, so far, this dream team consists of Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, Tony Gilroy, and Timothy Zahn. However, Disney has reportedly landed many other talents, such as writers and directors, that will be joining this team to create the best content possible. Adding to the list is creator Matt Reeves of The Batman, James Cameron of the Terminator franchise, and even the Russo brothers from Marvel. This, as of late, and as of now, is said to be the complete dream team plan so far to turn Star Wars around, with Matt Reeves aimed to helm the Old Republic movies if and when he is available with working on the Batman sequel. James Cameron is set to work with John and Dave as a co-writer for the Star Wars Underworld series that is in the early works right now, while the Russo brothers are set and plan to become part of one of Dave Filoni's movies, since his Star Wars film is going to open up into becoming a trilogy and will be treated as a new sequel trilogy in a sense. Now, let me just stop here quickly before I get to the next big bit about all of this, is that what's really exciting about this is that we have been waiting for a lot of great things to happen for the Star Wars franchise, and looking back at everything that Kathleen Kennedy has done, alright, we know that there's been a lot of ups and downs. I really do stand by my opinion that Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, even though Kathleen Kennedy was, yes, involved, it stands as the best Star Wars movie under Disney's wing. It easily feels like the most Star Wars movie or thing out there in cinema. I think that they really knocked it out of the park with that one, and sure, Disney, of course, had a little bit of an issue with that movie with some minor reshoots here and there, but Kathleen Kennedy, did interrupt with that film. We were supposed to get a lot more Darth Vader scenes. In fact, we were supposed to have Vader on the beach of Scarif, literally slaughtering rebels in his path and deflecting blaster fire in the waters of Scarif. Literally, like knee-deep water Vader was supposed to be in, using that against the rebels. Now, what's interesting, though, is that when you look at the sequels, and I've said this many times before, it's not that I hate them through and through, or dislike them through and through. I like moments from the sequel trilogy. I like specific scenes. I like specific highlights, I should say, of these movies. But on a consistent basis, from start to finish, the sequel trilogy is very disjointed and just does not work for me. Whenever it comes on, whatever it is, like TBS, right? I think it is, on television, I find myself really just not catching my attention, or my attention not really getting glued to the screen when these movies come on. When the originals pop up or the prequels pop up, it's like, you know, it's easy. It's not even a task or a chore. So, moving on to the next thing here is that Timothy Zahn will be an advisor for almost every project moving forward, especially for Ahsoka Season 1 and 2, as well as Dave's movies. Now, Lucas will both serve as an advisor for all projects moving onward, and even as a co-writer for some, and will be handling the directing of a couple scenes for said projects. While eventually taking over the Lucasfilm Story Group by 2024 is Disney's grand plan. This dream team for Disney is set to also be announced by the end of this year to the public to ensure fans that, of course, Star Wars will evolve. Now, about the Russo brothers, I don't know if you guys knew this, but we know that the Russo brothers were supposed to either, I believe, direct the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but that's where Kathleen Kennedy got very defensive at Star Wars Celebration, where she's like, we never announced that, you know, we never did anything with that movie, it was never a thing, and to say that it was cancelled is just, you know, crazy. She got really, you know, defensive over that. And as it turns out, there was a Kevin Feige movie. The Russo brothers were supposed to, I believe, yes, direct this thing. And so, they're taking the Russo brothers' opportunity with that Kevin Feige movie that was cancelled, and they're putting them into another scenario by having them get involved with Dave Filoni's Star Wars films. Alright? So again, so far Dave has one movie, but it's going to open up to 2 other films to complete a trilogy. That's the plan by Disney. They want to create a new sequel trilogy, quote unquote. While not necessarily naming them 7, 8, and 9, they will be considered a new main sequel trilogy, a post-Return of the Jedi story, so to speak. So, it's interesting because we do know that John and Dave are going to be splitting up. We've talked about this before a couple days ago, and it's nothing against each other. It's nothing that, you know, it's nothing like Dave Filoni is siding with Kathleen Kennedy or vice versa. Nothing like that is happening. They're just taking time apart to deal with other creators. Dave Filoni is going to be spending some time with Tony Gilroy. Favreau is going to be spending some time, of course, with other creators coming on board over at Lucasfilm for a short while. This, of course, is all going to happen after Mando Season 4's release, either during holiday of 2024 or the beginning of 2025 if delays do, of course, persist. So, again, this writer's strike, it's not helping. I mean, it's causing a lot of problems. This writer's strike is only creating a domino effect. And if it does reach up until July, that's the point of no return, essentially. If the writer's strike continues till then, once it hits July, you're going to have a lot of massive delays on these projects. You know, Mando Season 4 most certainly will be delayed until 2025 easily. And, you know, that's going to further just kind of create a butterfly effect of delays. So anyways, guys, I would love to hear your input on this grand plan, or this dream team, if you will, that Disney has in mind right now and are putting into effect by the end of this year. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.